Work's over. And now it's time to go off the clock. Your favorite destination for the hottest sports topics, fantasy insight, betting lines, and game predictions. Sit back, kick off your shoes. You can even crack a cold one. And enjoy the show. Now, here are your hosts, Tyler, Jake, and Rob.
What is up, fellas? It's our first show.
How's it going?
How are y'all doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Today is the first Sunday for football. You know, it's beautiful outside. I have my jerseys finally out. If you don't know me, I have like 7 jerseys.
We're all rocking them today.
Yeah,
We got a Torres jersey, a Cheesehead jersey, and then the best right here. But
I'm sorry. When's the last time the Cowboys won the Super Bowl? Like, I don't know if they're the best one, but all right.
You're
in diapers, probably.
That's the best jersey. I was in diapers. I was. Anyways, Jake, we're live, guys. How you doing, Jake?
We're doing good, man. I'm excited for this. I am.
It's our first show.
Anyone catch that game on Thursday? I mean, I know the answer, but I just want to.
Of course, we caught that game, guys. Of course, we caught it. You want to hop right into it and talk about it?
Yeah, because what drives me absolutely crazy is like running backs in the league this year is you just don't know like who the top 10 running backs. Obviously, you know the top maybe 7 or 8, but the last 2 spots you just don't know. And like those people that drafted Cam Akers in the first 4 or 5 rounds are probably like tearing off their heads off right now because he probably got, I would say, 10 snaps at best during that game. And
I forgot the snap share, but
I think it's too early to jump the gun on Cam Akers. We knew he was injured going into the game. It's kind of like Allen Robinson. You're not going to sell Allen Robinson after one game.
What my point is more Cam is people went after Cam. Like I know people got Cam like in the 4th round, like 5th round.
Oh yeah,
like, he was good.
I shied away from
his
him.
ADP was way too high for me. I don't know if any of you guys took him in any of your leagues, but I know I faded him hard in every single draft that I had. I'm in a 14-man half PPR league, and he went in round 3. Actually, my dad took him, so
I wanted to stay away from him because I'm a big Darrell Henderson guy. I mean, the dude carried the load all last year, and I feel like it's kind of unfair and selfish for them just to shy away from him.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I just looked it up. The snap count for Darrell and Cam: 55 snaps to 12.
55 to 12. Yeah, it's a huge gap. And Henderson was
huge gap.
He didn't get that many opportunities in the run game just because they're down most of the second half, but he still had some production. Now, here's the thing. I took a flyer on Darrell Henderson in like round 10 or 11, I think, in 2 of my 6 leagues.
I did too.
So he's on my bench. I don't plan on starting him because that Rams backfield, man, even last year, they were last in the league in running back efficiency, EPA, yards per play.
It reminds me of like Bill Belichick's of running back situations in New England every year. You just wanted to think James White was going to be that dude, and was never that dude. you always pick up a New England Patriot running back, and you're thinking like, yep, this dude's going to go off. He's going to get at least 150 carries this year, over 1,000, and barely one running back in the whole roster breaks like 900 yards.
Here's something I'm going to say. It tends to be in the last 5 years or so, the top offenses in the league, who they've been: Kansas City, Rams last year, Buffalo now. You can throw New England in there when they still had Tom Brady. All these teams with top offenses, they're a running back by committee type of team. Yeah. There hasn't been a bona fide RB1 fantasy starting running back on any of the top offenses in the past few years. And you go ahead and
Yeah.
look at it now. I mean, Baltimore, they have a good rushing attack, but Lamar Jackson's their best rusher, just like Buffalo,
Yep.
Josh Allen's their best rusher. So it's really
Yeah.
tough to kind of grade these running backs, preseason.
Yeah. So my question for the group would be rate. Give me your 1 through 10 running backs right now.
For fantasy football or for like
It could be just fantasy. Who's your top 10? Like, obviously, we all go through a list of people that we want to
in any
draft.
particular order, or are you going to put the pressure on us and then go 1, 2, 3?
I'm gonna give you the pressure. I'm gonna do the same, but I'm gonna give you the pressure. I could go first if y'all want me to, but give me the 1 through 10. All right, so I think number 1 is Jonathan Taylor, no matter what.
That's debatable.
Last year, that is not debatable. Come
That's
on, the man.
Debatable.
Okay, we'll have more of a discussion about that one. Okay, number 2, I could say. Ooh,
Don't even
tough.
disrespect the man out of Carolina, Rob. Don't do it. Not on the first episode.
Mr. Always injured. Like I'm sorry. Like if you're always injured, I just can't.
When he's healthy, I would take him over JT any day.
Okay.
When he's healthy.
But when's the last time? It's been 2 years since that man has been healthy. Like I'll use air quotes. Healthy.
Look, Christian McCaffrey has the highest ceiling in fantasy football.
The highest,
of course.
But
no, I get it.
That's something you gotta weigh when you have that top pick or that second pick.
I would say Austin Eckler's too, just because he's the most underrated running back at all. Like he's CMC without being hurt. That's what he is. CMC's 3.
We'll have our turns.
Yeah, you'll have your turns. Derrick Henry's 4. 5. Dalvin Cook. 6. Aaron Jones. 7. Yeah, trying to think. I'm gonna say Joe Mixon 7, and then 8, 9, 10. I mean, that's kind of hard because you just don't know.
You can shuffle in a few different people.
You could throw in like an 8. Like I would say maybe the guy at the Denver, Williams. I always mess up his first name. Javonte.
I don't think he's there yet. He needs to prove to me.
Well, he'll prove, but I think he'll be there. Like that's why I'm giving him an 8 spot. 9. I mean, it's just rough. Again, when you get further down to the 10 spot, you're just like, okay, who are the running backs? I would say Swift probably 9 because again, you just don't know with Swift. He's always hurt. 10, and also it's Lions. So I mean, and 10. Yeah, I don't even know who to put at 10. There.
I'm gonna need you to write these down because I have a couple questions about your list that kind of bother me. So
why didn't you need to write down? If you got questions, shoot it. Like
I don't have the best memory. I tend to drink a lot, so
I think that's like.
I think I'm gonna need you to write that down and go through that list again because I see a couple of guys that I kind of want to.
All right, what's your first question about my list?
Well, first question, and really the only question is I need to hear it again. It's not even a question. I just need to hear it again because I don't remember all 10 you said. And that's gonna make me question the
I got you. So I got a pretty good memory. He went JT, Eckler, CMC, Derrick Henry. Then he threw in, I believe, Aaron Jones, and then
Aaron
Jones 5.
No,
Aaron
6.
Jones top 5.
Aaron Jones
number
6.
5 then.
Fuck, I totally forgot. 5.
Write this down,
Kamara.
Write this down.
Dalvin Cook was 5.
Dalvin Cook 5.
It was 5.
Jones 6. Mixon 7. 8 was Swift, I believe. And 9, 10 were kind of.
So I would say I would actually now think about move Swift down to 9, Nick Chubb 8, and then I would actually give Alvin Kamara like the 10 spot.
So that's who I want to talk about. Like, how disrespectful is that? Alvin Kamara is a better pure running back than Nick Chubb, than DeAndre Swift, than Joe Mixon. You're not going to tell me you're going to start a franchise tomorrow and not take Alvin Kamara over those guys.
Well, here's the thing.
He has everything. He has everything.
But here's the thing, though. Sorry, Todd. Let me say this. Alvin Kamara, most of his career has had Drew Brees as his quarterback. Okay, and when you have a legendary quarterback paired with a great talent, Alvin Kamara, yeah, you're gonna be great. But what happened last year? He was hurt, and he
Trevor Siemian and Ian Book. Like, come on now.
He also had Jameis Winston for half the year too.
I mean, Jameis Winston is.
Hey,
when has he been relevant?
But
He's only relevant for the.
You remove a legendary quarterback named Drew Brees off that team, and then all of a sudden the game plan is now Alvin Kamara. You know, I'm just going to play my defense against Alvin.
Hey, let me say this, guys. This is all about fantasy football, right? Because if we're talking about building an actual NFL roster, like my list is going to be completely different.
Rob, what were you relating to? Were you thinking fantasy or real football?
Fantasy.
Because if you're thinking real fantasy, Nick Chubb is not a first-round pick, and Alvin Kamara is a first-round pick.
That's why Nick Chubb's on 9.
But you said Alvin Kamara at 10.
Yeah, because Alvin is hurt. Like, he's got hurt.
So if you were sitting, Alvin Kamara's ADP this year, probably he's 12-man league. He's probably going to go 9 to 12, 8 to 12. People are scared of him, obviously. You're telling me, Rob, if you're sitting at, say, the 9 spot, and it's either and Nick Chubb and Alvin Kamara are still there, you're taking Chubb over Kamara. Is that what you're saying?
Well, because Kamara's hurt, I would definitely take Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is a downhill runner.
Kamara's not hurt.
Kamara was hurt most of last year.
I'm talking about this year. If you're drafting this year,
he wasn't hurt most of last year. He missed a couple games. But
he missed a couple games.
I mean, hell, he scored 4 touchdowns in the fantasy championship week.
If you're sitting at the 9 spot and Chubb and Kamara are still
actually,
there,
it might have been fucking 5.
Who are you taking?
So Fantasy Pros has Alvin Kamara as number 9 running back in Fantasy Pros.
I want Rob Pros. I don't want Fantasy Pros. I want Rob Pros.
I just told you it's 10. Like I'm right with them.
Hey, look, this is why we're doing this show, fellas, so we can have this friendly banter because we're not gonna agree on everything. I mean, look at what we're wearing.
Of course not.
Of course, we're not gonna agree on everything.
I mean,
but,
you got 2 Texas people next to you.
All right, we heard Rob's list. I want to hear yours, Jake.
Yeah,
I'm still working over here. Rob got me all flustered and all worried.
All right, well, here's what I'm going to say.
I'm sorry, Jake.
I'll go ahead and go then. I'll give you a few more minutes.
Yeah, I need a few more.
Rob, I disagree with your list in multiple different spots. Multiple different spots.
And what about Najee? You're not even putting Najee top 10? Come on, Rob.
No, Najee's like 11 for me.
Oh man! All right, go ahead. Take the floor, T.
Hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. I'm gonna go ahead.
I mean, I would like to say I would just like to reiterate, I'm on Fantasy Pros, and literally the top 4 outside of CMC and Jonathan Taylor have fit within what I was saying. 1 CMC, 2 Jonathan Taylor, 3 Austin Eckler, 4 Derrick Henry.
They agree with share this. So, share this for our audience here. All right.
I love the sleeper app anyway.
I'm just using the sleeper app right now. I'm on my league.
If anyone has the opportunity to use sleeper app,
I just want a list of players right here. Okay. So here's my top 10 for fantasy football running backs, and we're gonna just go ahead and say it. It's what, half PPR or full PPR at least?
We'll do full.
Let's
do full.
Okay,
yeah, let's do full PPR. Yeah.
All right.
That's why usually
here's my top 10. So. Number 1 is Christian McCaffrey. Simply because he does have the highest ceiling out of any player in fantasy football. Now, if I had the first pick, you got to let your nuts hang a little bit to draft him over Jonathan Taylor. I will admit that. Just because Jonathan Taylor is number 2 on my list, and he's probably the most consistent in the past 2 years at the running back position. He hasn't gotten
the offensive line. The offensive line of the Colts is probably a lot better than.
Now, I do have a theory that this season he's going to get less of that workload with Matt Ryan in town and a healthy Nyheim Hines. Matt Ryan likes to throw the ball around a lot. I think they're going to try to throw it more into Indianapolis and not rely so heavily on Jonathan Taylor. But I think, if you subtract, 50 carries from his stat line last year, he's still a top running back. So he's number 2. Number 3, I'm not going to put Austin Eckler up there at number 3 simply because he doesn't get the ball on the ground as much as a lot of these other guys. Now, he gets a lot of passes thrown to him, but last season, I just don't think he's going to duplicate his touchdown production last year. I just really don't. I think he's still going to be a top 5 back for me, but he's not number 3, and that guy will be a healthy Derrick Henry at number 3.
Same, preach.
Just because he gets He gets all those carries, man. There's nobody behind him in that offense. Number 4, I'm going to go ahead and throw in Dalvin Cook, just because I think he is a better pure runner than Austin Eckler, and he still brings value as a receiver. Number 5 will be Austin Eckler. Number 6 is going to be Alvin Kamara. He would be ahead of Eckler if he was a little bit more consistent over the past couple of years, and if their offensive situation was a little bit better. If, say, the Drew Brees in his prime was there, then I'd give him the nod over Eckler. But Kamara at 6. Number 7, this year, number 7, I got DeAndre Swift for the Lions. I think that guy's just going to get the ball a ton. The Lions, I think they're going to be better than last year, but they're still probably not going to be that great of a team.
It's the Lions.
Besides you, Rob, I think everybody in America, outside of those NFC North fans, kind of root for the Lions simply because of Dan Campbell and what he brings. You got to give it to him. At least he'd be a fun coach to play for, I think.
I watched the Hard Knock series with the Lions. I love Dan Campbell after that, but it's the Lions. I just don't have faith in the Lions performing better than maybe 3rd in the NFC North.
So DeAndre Swift 7. Number 8 is going to be Joe Mixon. High-powered offense. He's had health issues in his career. Last year was the first year I think he played every single game. So hopefully he can duplicate that. I think if he does, then he'll be a top 10 running back this season. Did I say Mixon at 7 or was that 8?
That was 8.
Mixon 8. Okay, running back number 9. And people listening, people watching might think this is a little biased, but I'm putting Ezekiel Elliott at number 9.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Come on.
He's never finished outside the top 10 in fantasy football in his entire career.
Do that.
So how do you not put him in the top 10 if he's never finished outside the top 10?
What draft was he drafted in the top 2 leagues, or what top 2 rounds? What draft? No draft.
Every draft that I was in, he was always in the
He doesn't go into the 4th round.
It doesn't matter about where he gets drafted at. I mean,
fantasy value, I think we're feeling like. I mean,
all right,
I think he was heavily undervalued in fantasy football this year by his age.
He's heavily overworked. The Cowboys have beat the shit out of him in the first how long have they been in the year? 7 years? Is this year 8 with him and Dak or no?
Out of all the guys that I've listed in the past 5 years,
7 year.
Out of all the other guys that I listed in my top 10, Ezekiel Elliott has been the most consistent fantasy football performer out of everybody in that list. So he's my number 9, and my number 10 is not Najee Harris, just because I think all signs point to him getting more of a shared workload, and his EPA per play, not very good. I think he averaged like 3-point-something yards per carry, which is not good in the NFL. He just got the ball a ton. Now, he's still probably going to put up points because of that reason, but number 10 for me is Mr. Aaron Jones.
And I think Aaron Jones under Zeke?
I do. And a big reason why is because Aaron Jones has A.J. Dillon behind him. And Aaron Jones has a team that doesn't have a bona fide number 1 wide receiver, so I think teams are going to treat their offense like he's the number 1 receiver as well. Now, you can't cover him with a cornerback when he's lined up in the backfield, but I just think that they're going to be sure to stop that run game, and I think I'm very high on A.J. Dillon this year. And you know what? You can make the same argument, Zeke has Tony Pollard, and by God, I hope that Tony Pollard gets a better split in that backfield because he is awesome. But until I see that, that's my list.
If we talk about just pure full PPR, Aaron Jones' value is a lot higher than Zeke's value. It is. Like, because the receptions, Aaron Rodgers loves going to Aaron Jones, for screens, dump offs, little, out routes, here and there. It just happens. He even loves doing the real route, and especially with now Devontae not being there, because we all know what happened last year. A-Rod knew that Devontae was not going to be Green Bay this year, so he was just loading up those numbers so Devontae could get the contract he needed. But this year he's forced to spread the risk.
Aaron Jones had 5 more catches than Ezekiel Elliott last year.
Okay. it's still the value is a lot higher. If my drafts, Aaron Jones go first 3 rounds,
6 less touchdowns, 200 more or 200 less yards.
Okay, 6 less touchdowns. That's a huge number in fantasy football. That's not like nothing. That's like at least if you're doing.
Let me say that he had 2 less touchdowns because I was counting just rushing touchdowns. Sorry, he had 2 less touchdowns. Zeke had 12.
Let me chime in. It's a very respectable list, Tyler, because I think we have very similar beliefs. It's kind of funny. I'm going down my list. We're actually we think the same. Rob's list, I don't know. I love Rob. He's my boy, but we won't talk about that one no more. So this is where I'm at, fellas. This is where I'm at. I agree with you, Tyler, 100%. CMC is the best all-around running back in the NFL, and I'm assuming my whole list, everyone is healthy. I'm going into this year with a clean slate. What's the word? Whenever you optimistic, I guess you could say. I'm being optimistic, and I'm not even thinking about the past years. CMC number 1. There's just no way with the dumpster fire quarterbacks he's had in the past. I mean, he's had Cam. I don't know what y'all's opinion on Cam is, but I think he's always wasn't great. Got the job done. Got him to a Super Bowl.
I think he was great.
Oh, you think he was great
for a year?
His MVP season, yeah. His couple years of MVP, yeah. But number 2, I agree. JT. I think the 1 and 2 that's not even up for debate. You know what I mean? You can flip flop them. You know what I mean? Some guys might have Eckler there, but I think that's.
Can I chime back in just real quick?
Yeah,
I think 1 and 2. It has to be CMC, Jonathan Taylor, and I think that you got to rate CMC over Jonathan Taylor, but that doesn't mean that you pick him as the first overall pick.
Yeah,
just in terms of if we're looking at best possible scenario, they stay healthy. CMC is.
Let's factor in the injury history then. If you had a chance to just do Eckler, we'll continue to listen, Jake. I know we'll continue it. If you do Eckler, CMC, or Jonathan Taylor, including their injury history, who do you go 1, 2, and 3?
I let my nuts stand still and go CMC number 1, Taylor 2, and Eckler 3.
I'm willing to take that risk just because of that ceiling. I'm willing to take that risk.
That's how you win leagues right there. But
yeah.
I mean, that's also you lose them.
JT wins you leagues too, so don't get me wrong.
But I had JT last year, and I was a great trade.
Did you win?
I traded him to you. No,
did you win your league?
I didn't win my league, but it wasn't because of Jonathan.
He started out 0-6, and then went on like an 8-game winning streak. It was insane. It was nothing like I've ever seen.
My team was not that great, and I had to work some magic on my end. But continue.
You got an hour till kickoff, fellas. An hour until kickoff.
Yeah, let's wrap this list up because I'm super excited for this first week of football. As you can see, I'm a diehard Texans fan. My over/under on the Texans this year is going to be 5.5, and I'm taking the over. Our over/under in Vegas is probably 2 or 3. They're probably expecting us to go like 2-15, but
I'll take the over on the Vegas odds there.
Oh, at 2. Now let's be more realistic. Vegas probably, I don't know.
No, I think Vegas odds are actually right around
3 or 4, maybe
5.5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay. If it's actually 5.5, I'm pretty good.
Let me try to look this up.
I'm looking it up. But wrap it up.
Yeah. CMC 1, Tyler. I got JT 2 with you. 3, you hit it straight on the head. The best pure running back in my eyes in the NFL is Derrick Henry. There's just no way around it. If you want a bruiser bag, somebody that's going to just duck his head and his shoulder and run through anybody.
You know who I think's number 2 that's not on my top 10 fantasy list? Nick Chubb. I think he's the second best pure runner. But
exactly. But the receiving upside is what makes me stay away.
Yeah, he's not on my top 10 fantasy.
Yeah, and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, by the way, I want to throw this out there, needs to get traded. That dude is an RB1 on a starting team. So Derrick Henry 3, guys. 4, I got Austin Eckler. I'm starting to become. He's such a likable guy too. I mean, if he has like a bad performance, I think he sends you a jersey or something. Like
also he plays fantasy football, so he knows what he needs to do to get the.
He's
job
just
done.
He's a likable guy. I hate the guys in the NFL that are like, no, I don't play fantasy. I don't care about that stuff. Like, come on, bro. You probably play fantasy.
They all play fantasy.
They all play fantasy.
You know,
bro.
Bullshit.
Come on, bro.
They're all bullshit.
Like Steve Smith in that one Carolina Panthers. I forgot. He went up to Cam Newton and was talking shit about DJ Moore right in front of him.
that was funny.
But all right, guys, let's wrap this up. Dalvin Cook 5 for me. I love the Minnesota offense. I hate Kirk Cousins. I think he needs to go retire and go play golf. I didn't like Kellen Mond either, Tyler, an A&M graduate, but I don't think they ever gave him a fair shot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I never liked him, but I never thought he got a fair shot. The coach in that one interview was even like, they asked him if he wanted to see more Kellen Mond, and the coach was like, "What do you say?" "Oh, I see him every day." Like, come on, man, that's ridiculous. I love, and then Alexander Madison. I feel like he kind of gets disrespected too, but he's not going to come in unless Cook comes in. You know what I mean? It's not a AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones kind of situation. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb.
He'll get a few carries each game, but
but nothing like Kareem.
Cook
AJ
when healthy is the workhorse.
He's a good guy to pick up when you feel
he's one of the best handcuffs in the league.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is he's not a threat. He's not a threat, though. Kareem Hunt's a threat. Tony Pollard's a threat. AJ Dillon's a threat. Stuff like that. Number 6, Alvin Kamara. I have to. He's just a receiving upside. He's a grinder on the ground as well. Rob, you had a great point. He did have a legendary Hall of Famer quarterback, but I think still just all around, man, he's just a stud. Obviously, this year it's scary with the situation off the field, but we can't think about that because I feel like with the judicial system, it takes forever anyway. So I don't see anything happening until next year anyways. They're going to keep resetting that. He's going to push it off, kick the tire down the road. So CMC 1, JT 2, Derrick Henry 3, Osteckler 4, Dalvin Cook 5, Alvin Kamara 6. This is my curveball, fellas, and I've been waiting on this one.
Keep going.
Oh, I don't know. My screen, like, that was weird. I only see myself now. What happened?
I'm just honing in on you, Jake. Production value.
Number 7, I'll put it out there. Saquon Barkley. When healthy, who do the Giants have?
Kick him right now. Like,
I mean, come on. They have who do they have? Kenny Galladay, Sterling Shepard. They got Wayndell Robinson. If I said his name right. But those aren't guys that are X factors. I mean, let me take the floor on this one, Rob. Saquon Barkley, when healthy, is a top 5 running back. He was being drafted, and that's what I'm going into this year optimistic. He said it himself. He's about to turn the F up this year. He's about to prove everyone wrong, and I truly believe him. The running, the pure power on the ground is there. The receiving ability is there. There's no other threats on the field that essentially Matt Breida's his backup. I'm not worried about Matt Breida. I'm not worried about Kenny Galladay. I'm not worried about Sterling Shepard. Evan Ingram's not there anymore. Who's the offense going to go through? It's going to go through Saquon Barkley. There's just no way around it.
Mike, can I just throw in my 2 cents here? My only thing about the Giants offense is Danny Dimes.
He sucks.
He sucks. And he I don't know. It's just he as a quarterback just doesn't doesn't make the right. He doesn't make the right decision as a quarterback. Like, he would rather tunk the ball and try to run 80 yards down the field by himself than try to dump it off to Saquon or throw the out routes to fucking Ken Galladay or whoever the wide receivers on there.
Well, I feel was it Dable, Dabol, their new coach from Buffalo. I feel like he's going to kind of bring that swagger. He knows how to win in Buffalo. The Giants obviously have had a rotating carousel at coach. And look, man, I think I'm not saying this is the year it clicks for the Giants. I have them finishing last in that division. I have the Eagles 1, Cowboys 2, Redskins 3.
Hold on, let's save that for our divisional predictions here.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, that was a little sneak peek. Let's wrap up 8. Yeah, let's wrap up 8, 9, and 10. I got Barkley at 7. I think he'll end up higher though later for me. 8, I have Joe Mixon. I've always been a believer. He's one of those guys as well that can't stay healthy. He did last year. I want everything to do with that offense. I'm big on Hayden Hurst as well this year at tight end. And so anything I can do to get my hands on any part of that offense, I want it. And I'm not worried about Sam Perrine or his backups. So 9, I got DeAndre Swift. Lions offense is a dumpster fire. I think they're starting to come around. I hate Jared Goff. I want nothing to do with him. I think it was the ultimate slap in the face what Matt Stafford did. Took that team and won it. because he couldn't. So yeah, DeAndre Swift at 9. Jamal Williams worries me a little bit. Jamal Williams is a stud. I loved him in Green Bay. I know, Rob, you know about him, obviously, because that's your team. So he worries me, but not too much. So and then 10
there,
and then yeah. And then 10, Aaron Jones. 8, the main thing is A.J. Dillon. I hate people that steal carries, but he's a beefy workhorse. He really is, and I feel like he is a monster, or he can be at least, AJ. So I love the receiving upside with Aaron Jones. No Devontae. I love the elusiveness when he's out in the open. He just turns on the Jets. So honorable mentions though are also James Conner, Leonard Fournette, and Nick Chubb. Any of those 3 guys, I feel like could crack my top 10 this year, especially with no Edmonds and the Cardinals.
I think Connor has the best chance to do that.
So this brings up. I just have one more question. We can switch over to the divisional and predictions for Super Bowls. Name one running back that is not in your top 10 that will break the top 10 this year, and why?
I mean, my honorable mentions, I feel like, would be one. So out of Connor, Fournette, and Chubb, I would probably say Fournette. I think the Bucs could easily win the Super Bowl, and that I mean, Leonard Fournette is my answer.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What about you, Tyler?
For me, I mean, this is a tough question. I think those are all good answers, I think, Jake, that you brought up. I think Connor being the sole back there, he had a great year last year. I think
not worried about Darrell Williams. I'm gonna handcuff Darrell Williams, but I'm not worried about
if he stays healthy, his ADP next year might be in the top 10. Now,
for sure.
I'm gonna go a little bit more outside the box. It's a little bit more unknown, but I think next year we could be talking about Travis Etienne being a top 10 pick.
Yeah, now, it was unfair his rookie year that he got hurt.
And Lawrence worries me though. I mean, we all know what he did at Clemson. We all know, but I mean, obviously he's gotten.
I think Lawrence is going to be fine if they get pieces around him.
He's the kind of guy that goes and sits at the blackjack table and gets a 10 and a 6 against a dealer ace. He's been dealt some bad hands, but I don't know. I think this will be a good year. They got him some help in Christian Kirk.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think. I mean, my pick of Travis Etienne possibly cracking the top 10. I think it's a little bit. It could be considered far-fetched, but. Now, James Robinson could come back from Achilles in a couple weeks.
Are you out on James Robinson?
I took him with one of my last picks and I think one of my drafts. I'm not out on him because I think he's a good football player. I just think that the Jaguars are out on him. I think they want Etienne to be the guy. I think they're going to let him be the guy.
They always want Etienne.
They always want Etienne. Until, something happens. If he starts fumbling the ball, if he gets hurt again, I don't think James Robinson is featured but 15% of the snaps. Just because I think Etienne's ceiling is, he has a pass coaching background. He has that burst of speed where he can.
And they play together at Clemson. Isn't Etienne from Clemson too? Yeah.
And another reason why I think the Jaguars are going to be down a lot in a lot of these games, and they're going to have to throw the ball around. Teams are going to sit back and shell coverage, and Trevor Lawrence is going to have to take the check down for a 3-yard pass in the air to Etienne and let him work. And he's going to get a handful of those a game, I bet.
Let's wrap this up, fellas. Rob, real quick, give me your running back.
So I'm going even further than Travis Etienne, and I'm going to go with my boy Miles Sanders from Philadelphia.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's hurt, but this year is his contract year, right? He's featured as one of the most heavily run-heavy offenses in the league with Jalen Hurts and him. And I feel like the Eagles' offensive line is a lot better this year than it was last year because a lot of people got healthier. And he has something to prove because
Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott don't scare you at all. Not really Boston Scott.
No,
but what about Kenneth Gainwell?
I don't know because they got Trace from the Niners when the Niners cut him too. So obviously they don't feel comfortable with those two as the backup. So
they don't feel comfortable with Miles Sanders as the starter. Let me tell you that.
But I'm just saying, he's already said that I'm out there to prove something. Like I'm a top player and I'm one of the top running backs in the league. I really think that we're going to see him top 10, probably even around 8 this year. Watch.
If he does that, Rob, if he does that, I will eat crow and praise you for your prediction. But I think Miles Sanders, he's had so many opportunities to prove himself in that offense, and he's not the best runner on the team. Jalen Hurts is.
I just think guys that are on their contract year always perform a lot better than they do when they're in a contract because they want to make their money, and this is his money year.
Yeah.
So
all right, fellas, let's keep this rolling. Yeah, we could go. We could talk about this all day.
We could actually.
Yeah, this is how it's going to be every Sunday too. So we got to let's move on. All right, before we go into predictions, I want to hear y'all's lock of the week, though. I want to.
That's exactly where I wanted to go. I wanted to go there, so I'm glad you went there, Tyler.
Okay, so what do you guys think in lock of the week?
It was for me. I'll start it off, fellas. I have no credibility on this because the game already happened, but I loved the Bills. But it's easy to say that. Obviously, now it's already happened, so let's just keep that rolling. I think my lock of the week. I don't want any part of the dog shit New York Jets. I'm taking the Ravens -6.5. You're telling me all I need is a touchdown against the Jets with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's not going to turn into 2015 Joe Flacco when he played for the Ravens. I want no part of this Jets offense. They don't know what they're doing at running back. The receivers, Elijah Mitchell. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Ravens -6.5. I'm going to go to the cash counter really quick, and I'll meet y'all there.
Sorry, Rob, I'll let you go, but I was just going to say.
No, you go. You go next.
I almost locked that pick in for my lock of the week, too. I don't know. I'm nervous about Baltimore's offense starting off. Jackson, he's wanting that contract, didn't get it signed. I wonder how motivated he'll be. I mean, he's betting on himself, so I'm going to guess he'll be super motivated. But week one, teams like Baltimore, who had a lot of people injured last year, trying to mesh back together, they might get off to a shaky start. So look, they're going to win the game. They're probably going to cover if I had to really bet on it, but I'm going to stray away for my lock of the week. But I'm going Broncos -6.5 Monday night at Seattle.
I like
that's what I was going to say too. I was going to say
Russell
Broncos.
Wilson back in town. I mean, I watched Seattle in the preseason against the Cowboys, and I mean, for one, Drew Lock's not the answer. Geno Smith, I think you made a comment the other day.
He's definitely not the answer.
He's not the answer on that. Hell no.
Now, Seattle, they're going to come out. That crowd always comes out. But they might be rooting for Russell Wilson more than their own team tomorrow night. So, Broncos 6.5.
Rob, I want you to go next, but I want to throw in something. Give me a little for our betting fans out there, Tyler, because we're probably gonna have a bunch of them. Give me a little cheeky little two-teamer. No money lines. You have to take the spread. Give me a cheeky little two-teamer. We don't need to know the odds or anything like that. But for anyone that's watching our podcast moving forward, I'm sure they're going to look at us for some picks. So, Rob, I want you to take it right after this. But, T, just give me a little cheeky two-teamer.
All right. I'll throw in Denver -6.5. And then I'm going to take Tennessee Titans -5 against
I like that.
New York Giants. So
-5. It's -5.5 on Yahoo. Do you still want it at 5.5? I mean, 5's obviously a push, so you would take it by 6 to win by 6.
I mean, if it's 5.5,
it's essentially the same thing.
I'll probably still take that, but let's say I don't take it, then I'm probably going to throw in Green Bay +2.5.
I like it.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to buy points, so
I'm much more confident in Tennessee -5.
Okay.
That's what I got on DraftKings.
So your two-teamer would be Broncos -6.5, and then the Titans -5.5.
Yep, put them in.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good lock.
Print out the ticket.
What about you, Rob? Lock of the day and then a two-teamer.
So my lock of the day, I'm going to take it. I am taking the Panthers with Baker playing against his old team. I really think that Baker's purposely going to run up the score. Baker Mayfield is a spiteful person. He did not like the way he ended that career with Cleveland. But I mean, that's an easy lock. I just think that Jacoby Brissett is not going to do anything against that defense, and Baker's just going to run up that score.
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
I think it's going to be Carolina 50 to 20 or 21 or something
Wow.
I think Baker's purposely going to go off 5 touchdowns. He's going to try to force things in. He's just going to try to prove a point to the Browns. My two-timer, I'm taking the Niners in 6.5 against Chicago.
Big Trey Lance. Big Trey Lance day.
Big Trey Lance day. I think that with the whole Jimmy G situation, Trey Lance has something out there to prove. He does not like the fact that like Jimmy G got re-signed for a year, even though that was the right thing to do for Jimmy G. You led him to 2 Super Bowls. He might as well, be paid some sort of money. But I just think that Trey Lance is going to be out there slinging the ball. If you watch if you have any doubts with Trey Lance, go watch his practice videos. That dude is slinging it. Like that dude is like fitting it in.
Talking
like
about practice, not a game.
Hey, it doesn't matter though. And like go watch his college highlights if you don't believe me on that. Like he has a crazy arm. He could his speed.
Dude, you want to hear some crazy stat that I heard? I don't remember the exact number, but it was like 400 or 500 pass attempts. Trey Lance has less than that number since high school. In his
arm,
or including high school into college, into the NFL, he's thrown the ball less than 500 times. That's
insane.
I think honestly, fellas, we're the more I think about it, we're talking about betting lines and stuff. I feel like we might have a big community that bets. So I want to throw one more thing out there. I know we're kind of getting towards the end. It's week 1. We're all excited, but I want to get one more stat from you, or not stat, but one more prediction. As you quickly look through all the betting lines today, I want us to all give one underdog of the day, not to win, just to cover the spread.
Cover?
Just to cover the spread. I'm on Yahoo Sports, so it shows me all of the lines. If y'all can pull that up really quick as well, I want to give an underdog of the day.
Pittsburgh plus 7. Lock it in.
I like it. I do. I like Pittsburgh's one. I want to run through all these really quick.
I got the Jags.
Hey,
plus
pull up
3.
that. Share your screen, Jake. I want to see this.
I got the Jags plus 3 against the Commanders.
Yeah,
they'll at least cover that. I mean, the both teams are not that great. And Carson Wentz, I have no faith in that man.
So the Falcons, I don't know about Jameis. I'm not saying that's my underdog of the day, but plus 5.5, it might be tempting. The Texans, I have to be smart with my head. I'll
plus 7. Come on, they ain't gonna cover against Matt Ryan.
Maybe if it was 10, maybe I would consider it. But
yeah. I got the Jags 3. So yeah,
I would be surprised if this happened, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Texans won this week 1 game.
That's what I'm saying. I would be tempted to take it at even maybe 9. I mean,
if you could buy that up a point, plus 8 Houston, I might consider that. But
I would take the Cardinals the least coverage against Chiefs. It's gonna be a shootout. I just don't.
I'm excited for this game. I'm gonna have
Raiders, Chargers.
I'm gonna have an ice cold beer in my hand, and I'm gonna be sitting somewhere in my house or in my garage in my man.
I'm excited for that game, the Sunday Night Football game, and the Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, hey man, they're starting off the season hot this season. Some good matchups. Yeah. I mean, Thursday night, that was a good matchup. It turned out to a blowout.
When they made the matchup, they're probably thinking like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be a great game."
Man, week 1 in the NFL, even college football too. I mean, we haven't even talked about college football today. We'll cover that on our weekly episode. But yeah, man, you just don't know. You don't know a lot of these teams that have new quarterbacks and things like that. We might be thinking Russell Wilson can win 11, 12 games with the Broncos. They still might just not be that good. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think so,
right,
but there's unknowns, man.
Let's cover our divisional and Super Bowl picks.
Yeah, we got to get these in before we wrap this up.
So I'll list them off, and then Tyler, you give me your we'll just go through who's your first, second, and third, and you could explain why. So the AFC East, that's pretty simple.
Okay, we going not just division winners, just the whole division.
Yeah, give me the first 1 and 2, because 1 and 2 could probably make playoffs.
Here, fellas, look at this right here. Let's just go down on the list. It starts at the AFC East. Let's just give our division winner, go down all the way, and then give us your Super Bowl pick, because I want to talk about something else as well, if that's okay with y'all.
I think AFC East, Buffalo.
Obviously,
I don't think anybody else in that division makes the playoffs this year, because I think 2 teams come from the AFC North and 3 teams come from the West.
Yep. I think we're there with you.
So East, I got Buffalo. My North division winner, I got Baltimore. I got Cincy also making it as a wild card. AFC South, I got Indy. AFC West, I have the Chiefs still winning the division, and I also have the Raiders and the Chargers making the playoffs. The Broncos.
You have the Chiefs winning that division?
I do. They got the best quarterback in the division, which is saying something. But we'll see. I mean, I think the Chargers have the best weapons in the whole entire NFL from top to bottom on offense. Justin Herbert's been great. There's just something about the Chargers, man. They can't seem to win very many games the past decade or so. You know, even when Phillip Rivers was at the end of his career, they had some decent teams. They had to lose all these close games. They just haven't gotten over that hump. And until that happens, I can't pick them over the Chiefs, who've proven it in the past 3-4 years. Okay, NFC East. I know everybody's high on the Eagles. I think that they're going to be. I think that they're going to be a good team this year.
We know your pick. Let's keep it.
We all know your pick.
We know your pick.
Well, I want to put some backing to it, not just because I'm a Cowboys fan, but I think that the Cowboys have the best quarterback in the division. I think they also have the best defense in the division. Now, the Eagles roster top to bottom might look better on paper, but I think the difference in scores last year was like 80-something to 30-something when they played their two games. I mean, the Cowboys blew them out both times. So unless that gap closed tremendously, we'll see. NFC North.
It just pisses me off what Dallas did with their receiving core. I'm high on Amari Cooper. Since he's come in the league, he's always been solid. I just don't see how you can get rid of a guy like Amari Cooper and then address it with guys like, pardon me if I'm wrong, is it Noah Brown, dudes like that? Like,
I mean, I can talk about the Cowboys nonstop just because I know I keep up with them very, very thoroughly.
Comment quickly on the receiving.
Amari Cooper was let go not because of his ability; it was because of his availability. He missed some key games. He's had little injury issues pop up here and there, and he's faded out on a couple of big time games.
But do you not think that you need to come in as Jerry Jones and replace him?
Well, they did come in and replace him. They re-signed Gallup to be their number 2, and then they drafted a guy in the 3rd round, which I've heard some news. It's Jalen Tolbert. I've heard some buzz that apparently
Jalen Tolbert's a beast.
Well, apparently he hasn't progressed like they have hoped, and he might be a surprise inactive tonight. Your 3rd round wide receiver might be inactive, and instead you have undrafted free agent. What's his name? I know Houston's his last name, but
I don't know.
I forgot the guy's first name, but Houston might be out there. But yeah, I got the Cowboys. I do got the Eagles making the playoffs. NFC North, I'm giving it to the team with the best quarterback. I think Minnesota's going to be competitive, but they're going to have a season similar to last season. They're not going to make the playoffs. NFC South, I got Tampa Bay squeaking past a healthy Jameis Winston and the Saints because they have a good roster, and I think New Orleans makes it in the playoffs. And I got San Francisco winning the NFC West with LA sneaking into the playoffs.
I like it.
That's nice.
Let's run through these, Rob.
All right. Bills out of the AFC East. I'm actually gonna get Miami the wild card spot. I think they have something to prove. I think Tua is going to be you're going to see a huge progression with Tua, a huge leap. I'm not calling him top 10, but I'm going to call him at least top 15 in quarterback. Out of the North, I have the Bengals winning it. Baltimore Ravens taking that extra wild card spot. Tennessee the Colts out of the South. I don't see Tennessee. I just don't like Ryan Tannehill, honestly, and I don't think the organization is fully committed to Ryan Tannehill because that's why they drafted that quarterback. I forget where out of I want to say Memphis or something like that, but
Liberty.
Liberty. Yeah. Thank you,
Malik Willis. My hot take of the year is Malik Willis will take over at some point this year.
Yeah, I just feel like
you're reading my mind.
Tennessee just does not have fully committed in Ryan Tannehill, and that's why they drafted him. The West, I'm actually going to take the Chargers to win the division. I just think this year, there's no excuses for the Chargers. That it's either win the division, go to the AFC Championship, or bust for them because there's no other excuses on that front.
Kind of like the Bills as well. There's just you're kind of getting to the point where you're just like, look, man, it's either you got to prove
either
it,
either you're gonna do it or you just might as well blow it up and start from the beginning. Like that's just my rule. There's only 2 wild card spots this year, right?
3.
Or is it more? 3. And then I'll take the Chiefs coming out of that division. The
what about your
East,
NFC, Rob?
Okay, the East is always the tricky part. I actually have the Eagles winning the division by a game over the Cowboys. The North, the Packers. I think second place would be the Bears. I don't have any faith in Kirk Cousins, honestly, and I think this is going to be a realization for the Vikings that they need to get a quarterback. The South, the Bucks, and the Saints coming out of there as well. The West, I actually have the Rams winning, but the Cardinals coming out as the wild card spot.
I like it. I'll go quick. 30 minutes till kickoff. I think we're all super excited. Probably want to lock in, maybe get some food, get a beer or something. So I'll run through this.
I'm about to go have breakfast over at old grandma's house.
Nice.
Like biscuits and gravy.
Set
me up right.
Yeah, let's run through mine really quick. Obviously, AFC's no brainer. Bills, it's do or die for them. I don't see any other teams challenging them. AFC North, I'm on the Ravens. I think obviously Lamar is going to come out with some vengeance, barring that he doesn't get hurt. I think they have that one. Bengals, I do love them, but I love the Ravens. Something about them. AFC South, I won't be biased, a diehard H-Town fan, but let's get real. Colts all the way. AFC West, obviously this is a toss-up for anyone. I still like Mahomes and the Chiefs. I think Derek Carr is not the answer for the Raiders. I love Justin Herbert, was high on him since Oregon, but something just doesn't feel right there. And then the Broncos, Russell Wilson.
He was probably high in Oregon too.
Could easily do it. The Broncos could easily do it, but I'm still with Mahomes and the Chiefs. I don't think their time is over yet. NFC East, got to go with the Eagles. The Cowboys piss me off too much. They do it every single year. I'm over it. They're kind of like the Aggies. They just always just piss me off. So I'm done taking them.
The Yankees, the Yankees of football. You know, they do great for the whole year, and then towards the end of the year, they start just.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys did it, but if I'm picking
two greatest franchises in their respective sports. But.
Yep. So Eagles for me in the NFC East, NFC North. Oh, Bears and Lions, absolutely not. It's a toss-up, but I think this is the year that Rodgers really feels it in a negative way. I'm going Vikings. I think this is the year for the Vikings. I love Justin Jefferson. Who doesn't? Adam Thielen's still a stud. I think if Dalvin Cook can stay healthy, they have the pieces. They've had the pieces, but I think this is really the year that Justin Jefferson shows that he's the best receiver in the league. NFC South, got to go with the GOAT. Come on now. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the NFC West, Seahawks, absolutely no. Cardinals, I can't. It would be between the 49ers and the Rams, and obviously the Rams scared me on Thursday, but I remember the Packers last year, week 1. They got trashed. I don't remember who it was against, but I remember everyone was freaking out. Yeah, against the Saints. Yep, they got trashed.
Jameis at Lambeau Field. I remember that game.
Yeah, and then obviously the Packers went on and won whatever winning streak they went on, and then obviously they went deep. So I'm going the Rams. I'm not panicking yet. There is cause for concern, but they'll get it together. So
who's your Super Bowl pick? 2 teams and who wins? You don't need to give me a score, but 2 teams and who wins?
No, nobody's coming out of the AFC South. I don't see the AFC North this year. I hate to be on the bandwagon, but it's just I think the Bills come out of the AFC. Obviously, I mean, I wish I had a better pick, but I'm just being realistic.
You hate to go, with the consensus. You just hate to.
Yeah.
How do you pick against the Bills?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Buffalo Bills, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win it, and Tom Brady retires after this year.
I have the Bills coming out. I have the Chargers and the Bills in the AFC Championship. I think that's just the most logical. I have the Cardinals playing against the Bills, and Bills win the Super Bowl.
You have the Cardinals out of the NFC. Okay.
I think you're going to see a huge leap, and especially when D-Hop comes back, it's just like your secret weapon, just like coming back from injury. I think just that offense is very hard to stop, and
it's that Danios fist, and then they just drop that D-Hop diamond right there, and
exactly. So, my bias pick is obviously the Packers and Bills, and Packers win, but we got to see how the offense operates.
Yeah, right.
I think the Packers
give it to us really quick,
Greg. Very reasonable selection, personally. I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers. How do you bet against that guy? But I will say he's been lackluster the last couple of years in the postseason. So is that coaching staff. You know how great Matt LaFleur has been in the regular season, 3 straight 13-win seasons. Some of the mistakes that they've made as a coaching staff, I think, really, hopefully, after an offseason to reflect, they can fix that up for him. But, I mean, Bills, I think that's just the best choice. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of, if I was being, very, very logical, I would say Bills and probably the Buccaneers.
I love it, Tyler.
My fandom pick obviously would be the Cowboys, but I'm going to leave that out. But I'm going to go like a little less logical, but also still very realistic selection. I think it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs again in the Super Bowl against a rematch of 2 years ago.
I like it. I would love
49ers. So, actually, sorry, 3 years ago.
So you're saying Trey Lance is going to make the huge leap and take the Niners to the Super Bowl? Is that what you're saying?
I think Trey Lance is going to do enough and make enough plays with his mobility to make that offense very hard to stop. But their roster, other than their quarterback position, is fucking awesome.
Oh, it's loaded. I mean, Debo, Ayuk, like that whole defense is fucking
especially
amazing.
If George Kittle can stay healthy and be a intricate part of that offense. He makes their offense just much more efficient. But those are our picks. One more thing before we wrap this up, because I'm going to keep a tally on this, kind of like the guys at the studio do. Let's pick every single Sunday night football game this year, and we'll see who has the best record at the end of the year.
Best record gets a 6-pack of his choosing.
I want something better than that.
Let's do a bottle of liquor, and the two losers split it.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
What do y'all think?
My Sunday night pick is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm actually gonna go with the Cowboys Sunday night. I think Tom Brady's just.
Do I need to pick this one?
No, you don't. We already know what you're gonna pick. I just think, just to explain it, I think Tom Brady has a lot going on personally, and I just don't think he figured it out yet. I think Tom will still figure it out and be in the playoffs at the end of the year, but I just don't feel he's mentally prepared because he has a lot of personal things going on.
My prediction, 23-20 Cowboys.
Wow.
Micah Parsons has 2 sacks.
And I'll go 28-24 Bucks.
Do we want to try to
both offenses are going to be a little sloppy. I think the Cowboys might give up a good amount of yards, but are going to hold them in the red zone efficiently. And
I think 31-24 Cowboys.
All righty. Well, that's it from me. You guys want to cover anything else before we sign off?
No, I think we're all excited to go get some biscuits and gravy from Grandma and maybe crack another one.
We hit an hour, boys, for our first live show. I think just if anybody's listening, tuning in, watching this after the fact, I think this is going to kind of be our, I guess, stopping point, if not a little sooner on Sundays. Just moving forward. But, yeah.
I want to throw something out there for all of our listeners that obviously start tuning in. Even if we don't have any, this is only week 1. We're all dedicated to this, and we're not going anywhere anytime soon. So I would love to get feedback from our listeners and our watchers that do eventually tune in. I'm obviously a student of the game. I want to learn more, and if you have any topics that you want to talk about, that you want us to talk about or want us to cover, or any debating topics, or anything about anything, whether it's other sports or life stuff, whatever. We obviously enjoy talking about sports mostly, but for all of our listeners and viewers, we're always willing to take on more feedback, and we want this to be an involved community. Everyone's welcome. So,
yeah, and just kind of running off of that, I think if you're not a huge football fan, catch us on our weekly show. That's going to be uploaded on YouTube every Thursdays. We are going to be talking sports, but not just football. We'll also throw in a couple, current event, life type topics. So yeah.
Yep.
Anything else from you, Rob?
Anything from you,
that's
Rob?
pretty much it. You guys pretty much said it all. You catch us on our social media, and you guys just drop us some likes, drop us some subscribes, and go ahead and shoot us some comments, concerns, anything you want us to talk about. And if you guys agree with my top 10 running backs, let me know so I can start bracketing about it.
Howdy, fellas. Y'all enjoy the games. Listeners, watchers, enjoy week 1. Take it easy.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Off the Clock Show. If you enjoyed what you heard, go ahead and hit that like button. If you really want to show your support, please consider subscribing. You can also follow us at our social media sites listed in the description. We will talk to you next time. Off the Clock.